Hey y'all, happy Saturday. So I just kind of wanted to show you my accidental garden a little bit. It's overgrown a little bit with weeds, but it'll all have a purpose if you watch this while I get through. So I got down here pretty low so that I can show you up close different things. So this purple plant here is what I've always known as wandering Jew. You can see that I have a lot of it. It has cute little triangular shaped pink flowers, but this can actually be grown as a house plant also. It's great for pulling toxins out of the air. So, because I have so much of it, and the fact that once it lays down on the ground, each joint, as you can see here, if it was to lay flat on the ground and touch the soil, each one of these joints would grab onto the soil, so and create a new plant. So it's very easy to propagate and a good thing to do. So what I'm planning on doing with it is digging it all up, because I have a lot of it. This was all planted by the previous owner, by the way. And I'm gonna make myself some house plants out of it and then try to propagate it into little pots and then plant it back out here so that it's not overgrown and spotty. So then we come to this little vine right here. So if you can see this, I've been pulling it and cutting it and everything else, but it's got little stickers and briars and things on it. But basically, this is southern dewberry, and it's a smaller type of blackberry, so it does bear fruit, and the fruit is edible. So it's one reason why I don't eradicate it. I was able to pick a small little bowl full of berries. It's all inside this little garden right here. However, it does tend to take over, and so I will be pulling and cutting as much of that out as I can this fall. So then the next thing I wanted to show you is this lovely little thing. So this plant right here with the little purple flowers, this is called society garlic, and the flowers can be eaten, the stem can be eaten, and even the leaves can be eaten. And in some countries, in African Zulu, for example, they use this for a lot of medicinal purposes. It's used for sinus and headaches. There have been tests with lab rats showing that this can help cure cancer. It's good for testosterone, men. It's good to balance hormones. It's good for blood pressure. It has a garlicky taste. It's not as strong as garlic, but so if you don't like the garlic taste, that you think that's too strong for you, you can take this. I mean, you can rub on it. The flowers don't smell like garlic. Oops, just broke that one off, so I guess I have to use it. The flowers don't really have a smell, but this smells like garlic, and it tastes like garlic, but you can chop it up and put it over salads, and there's all kinds of things you can do with it. You can make tinctures with it, so it's not a bad thing to grow. I would not choose to grow as much of it as the previous owner put into this garden, and when I talked to her about it, she said this was not her intention, but it happened. So I'll be cutting, harvesting, and digging up as much of this as I can, and then try to plant it more in pots so that it's not spreading everywhere. Now, if you saw my previous post on chamberbitter, I did a blog post on it, but not a video. That's what this is. And if you look underneath, you can see all those little tiny seeds that hang. That's why this spreads so bad. Those seeds go everywhere. It's very invasive, and it's very hard to get rid of. It has kind of spread to my yard. I'm not quite sure how this actually got here, if a squirrel brought it from another yard or whatever, but I try to use things and not be wasteful. And so I have made a tincture out of the chamberbitter because it does have medicinal properties. Now that I've taken care of that. I'll just be gently pulling this out. You can just pull, show you. Just make sure that you get the root. Just pull the whole thing out. Try not to drop any of those seeds, and put it in a plastic bag, which I don't have with me. As you can see, it gets in the cracks, but try to get as much of this out as I can, because I'm never going to eradicate it. So you know, it is what it is. Now if you look over here, you can see that I have two weird little plants growing up. The one on the left, I don't really know what that is. I need to go look that up. The one on the right is actually a tulip tree. And I actually have a tulip tree over here, which is in the magnolia family. So I'm guessing a squirrel or something came over here and planted this. I'll pull it up. I don't need a tulip tree growing right there. And as you can see, I have more of that southern dewberry here in the back. And today I have something new. I'm assuming it's some kind of a bulb that showed up. I have one here and I have one over there. I don't know what those are, but we're going to find out once they bloom. So this was a plant that was left here when I bought the house. And as you can see underneath, I planted some Portulaca. Also, I've got a chamberbitter that's gotten in there. I told you it goes everywhere. Portulaca is actually super edible, and your chickens love it. So if you have chickens, it's a great thing to plant for them, but you can eat it too. Thanks for taking a tour of my little side garden here. As you can see, my crepe myrtles are losing their leaves. It's going to be time to cut them soon. My ferns over here need to be cut back. I'm not a big fern person. I cut these back in the spring. Excuse me. Start over. I cut these back in the spring. Sorry about my dog pillow there. And this is how much they've grown all summer. So they definitely need to be cut back again. Sorry, my patio needs blowing. And then if we move over here, these are my Monsteras. Again, I cut these back in the spring down to the nubs, and this is what has grown all summer. I personally would not have chosen to plant these here. I have had issues with them. So if you're thinking about planting a Monstera outside, make sure that you... Einstein. If you're thinking about planting these outside, just make sure that you can truly contain them. I would suggest planting the container in the ground. I have some oxalis right there, as you can see, because their roots like to spread. People don't realize, they think it's a plant, but it's actually not a plant, as you can see. It's a vine. They are looking for a place to climb, and given the chance, they will climb up a tree or anywhere else. So yeah, I dig these up, but obviously they're super old. My house is 60 years old. I don't know when these were planted. I love having them out here, but you know, they're super invasive. They will climb up a tree as high as 40 to 60 feet. So yeah, just make sure that you can contain them. So that's my little front patio garden. I hope that gave you some information on some plants that you might not have known, and I will keep you posted as I use my society garlic. Bye.